ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for being here today to allow us to share our excitement in announcing the first of its kind conference and exhibition on the Internet of Things.
Set to take place next year in April, IoT Asia will gather end businesses and service providers in a mutually beneficial environment for the exchange of industry knowledge, showcase of technological solutions, and of course networking. SingX has partnered the Institute of Infocom Research, or I2R, to enable Singapore Expo, the venue for IoT Asia, to play host to the largest commercial IoT test bedding project in the nation. IoT Asia would not have been possible without the strong partnership between the public and private sectors. And so both SIAA and SingX are grateful to the Infocom Development Authority of Singapore, IDA, for their support of IoT Asia, the Institute of Infocom Research, I2R, a leading research arm of A-Star, for being our founding partner, Frost & Sullivan, and the Logistics Institute Asia Pacific for being our knowledge and advisory partners, and to all of you here today for your presence and support.
So noise monitoring is required by NEA, National Environmental Agency, to make sure that the construction site do not generate a noise above certain level at certain hours. The way we currently monitor the noise is that we leave the monitoring meter or sensors at the construction site to record noise levels. So every day, once or twice, depending on the project requirement, our technicians need to drive to each site to download the recorded data. So for us, we have about more than 80 sites. So we have about 200 such meters around the whole Singapore, from north to south, east and west. So the traffic and the road safety are big issues to us. After that, we need to drive back to office, download the data to the computer, analyze, then issue report through email to our clients. So that when the data our client receive actually is already several days or a week old, because the construction site in Singapore is always hot and dirty. So no Singaporeans want to do this, no matter how much salary we pay. So we have to depend a lot on foreign manpower. And the quota for foreign manpower, as we know, right, has been reduced over the years. As you know, from 1st July, that means the last week, the quota has been further reduced another 15%. So this is a great impact to the industry like construction, manufacturing, and services. However, government always encourage us, right, to promote productivity by using newer technologies and automation. Using IoT technology to remotely collect the data back to the office and in the real-time manner. Now we can immediately inform our client whenever they exceed the allowed level so that they can find out the reasons and immediately rectify their problems. They don't need to get a summon and do not get stopped their construction work by the authority such as NEA. To us, now our technicians do not need to drive to the site to download the data. So I calculated that this new solution reduced our manpower by 50%, half. Now, for us, we don't need to go to the MOM to apply for extra, work permit quota, and I can expand my business very easily. I hope there will be more such technologies to help industry for the productive improvement. So we as SMEs, right, fully support this IoT Asia.
So in the past, one engineer can go to say maybe 5 or 8 sites per day, maybe 2 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, to download data and logs. and then to process that in the office and present it as a report to the customer. So right now, this can be easily done by connecting it through a wireless system or through a internet system to our office. So this data can be downloaded very quickly into our office. So instead of using one day to cover say 5 sites or 8 sites, we can do it within an hour. So the reduction in manpower, reduction in cost is tremendous. Okay, so this is part of the benefit that we have achieved using M2M. The other benefits that we have is that not just by downloading data, we are now providing monitoring services. Okay, what we are doing right now is that it's a proactive maintenance. Instead of just download the data and provide a report, what we are doing is that we are providing monitoring services to prevent the downtime. Okay, so what we can actually do is that we monitor the equipment status. When equipment is about to fail, there are usually telltale signs like pre-alarms, over thresholds, and so on. So by monitoring all these signals, what we do is that we pull this signal back to our office. Once there's a pre-alarm, we send out an SMS notification. We send out email notification. So for site engineers, they actually receive an SMS to tell them that equipment is going to fail. Okay, for the management, they receive an email to be informed that the equipment have some status. So on top of that, the customer is able to know what is the status of the equipment real time. Okay, our engineers is able to be deployed on site to prevent the downtime. So in this case, not just by cutting manpower, cutting costs, we actually grow our business.
IoT, of course, is now being hailed as something that is going to transform the way that we are going to do business in the future. And it is also said that it's going to be something that is going to launch the next industrial revolution in the future. The first one is the machine-to-machine communication. M2M communication is the platform or the basis on which this whole IoT will be built in the future. And in recent years, technologies which are used for M2M communication, such as RFID sensors, cloud computing, wireless networks, all of these have made tremendous progress, which has helped make and ease the development of the IoT environment in the future. The second key driver is the optimization of resources. As already mentioned, while it improves productivity, for example, you don't have to physically drive down to a location to do a monitoring. It is much more greener in terms of the way businesses will evolve in the future. Third key driver that we see is miniaturization. With the advancement of technology and with the development of smaller and more compact sensors that can be installed inside devices, it is becoming much more easier to create an IoT environment where devices have the ability, with built-in sensors to be able to respond to the environment. The fourth is the ubiquitous services. Everyone today needs instantaneous solutions, wherever they are, at any location, at any given point of time. And this can only be possible through an IoT environment that is going to be developed in the future. And the final one is the opportunity for a new business model. So as we see the whole development of the IoT environment, the connection between the various layers of the IoT architecture, we see an opportunity for all the stakeholders in this environment to create new business models in this new environment that will help grow and drive their businesses. So these are some of the key drivers that we see which are going to enhance and build this entire IoT framework in the future.
What's the up and coming sectors of IoT will be, if I'm looking at starting a business in IoT, what are the sectors should I look at?
I think most of the solutions that we find today are coming in logistics, in retail, and in healthcare. So these are the key areas where a lot of implementations have happened. Specifically related to M2M, a number of applications have been more in terms of monitoring of services. And we saw two examples today, where you are able to monitor remote assets and then integrate that data into your systems to make more effective decisions for your businesses.
How will this actually happen on a whole enterprise level, from a whole industry level? Do we see the emergence of large technology providers coming together, merging with other smaller ones and providing a whole of enterprise kind of solutions? Do you see that?
Now, because the whole technology trend is moving so fast, I think it's important that we pull together two things. One is a platform for sharing to enable and allow best case studies, best practices to come, and everybody can leverage and build up greater learning and eventually accelerate the whole adoption process. So a platform like this is key. As you can tell, we have lined up a good team, not just vendors who wants to sell you the products or services. We've brought together end users who have played with IoT to a certain level of success to share what they've done. We're bringing together the research institute, namely here ISSNIP, to share with us some of the possible technologies that can be deployed and commercialized. We're bringing on board agencies like IDA and eventually more to come, who will lend us their support and potentially help, financial help, in the adoption of such technologies. And more importantly, right, I'm sure there'll be lineups of vendors who can come and assist in this whole adoption process. Secondly, I'm not sure if there will be one big brother that takes over everything and they own IoT. But I believe that there will be a formation of an ecosystem where different players can come together and effectively provide win-win solutions for the end user. And this is where we see another great opportunity for companies in Singapore, particularly the SMEs. You hear, and we all know SMEs struggle today. If the SMEs can come together and be part of this ecosystem to support IoT in healthcare, IoT in smart buildings, IoT in retail, and so on and so forth, I believe we can all succeed together. The challenge is, how do I know who's on the other side? Who's playing the other game? What do you offer and what do I offer? Can we complement? And hence I invite all interested parties to come together, join us in IoT Asia 2014, April, so that we can share our best practices and eventually, through this platform, build our respective ecosystem and succeed together.
Actually, just to add what you were asking, if you look at IoT, M2M, if you go back 10 years ago, wireless communication do not exist so pervasively. Internet is not so people just use it for email. If you look at companies which was very big at that time, they are not active in there. Now in Singapore, our infrastructure is one of the better ones in most countries. Wireless communication, internet. Now this becomes a very nice infrastructure given to us. Today, what do we use it for? Just for talking, FLSAP, and that's about it you do. But it opens up a new opportunity for companies which can seize this sort of platform. No companies in the world today in M2M is big. The traditional ones are already there. The GE, Siemens, Philips, they're all working in the same domain. It gives Singapore a chance with this new technology which is coming cost down, widely available, to grow a new generation of industry to occupy the space. Now imagine you want to do this sort of development, a test bed. Very few countries have this open network. Very few countries you can get access to government authorities. Very few countries have companies, private, all come together, we can discuss how to do it better. Now, coming back to that, if you think about Internet of Things, going forward in the future, the business, I believe, is in an area for people who don't know. Example, people who know technology in business actually forms about 2% of the market segment. People who do technology, you sell to me, I sell to you. Actually, it's a very, very small market. Actually, the biggest market is the people who don't know anything. The 98% of the market, that is actually the market you should go. If you look at growth sectors, the market saturation comes is when you sell to people who know, they already know. So you can't sell more because they know how to do. It's actually the people who do not know. It gives you the biggest opportunity of growth.